Hello, everyone. We are live. Let's see. Do we have anyone in the chat here today? Let's see. We're going through okay. Let's take a look. Do we have anyone? Anyone hanging out with us right now? All right. Well, I guess it's just us for right now. I'm going to let people know. All right, well, let's get started. Okay, so today, we got people in the chat. We do. We've got Hockey in the chat. I have Echo. Is the echo still going there, Hockey? Are we still hearing me? Do we still have echo? Mr. Hockey, if you're still there, if you can let me know if I have echo still, that'd be great. All right, so I've got Hockey saying that I still have an echo, but Michael Breyer says that we're good. Worst comes to worst, I might just be. We're going to remove me from the stream. I'm not the important thing. We're going to do some drawing. So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to do. Can you guys hear me now? Why the freak? That's echo. Add to stream. All right. So this was working before, so that's what we're going to be going with. So good evening, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. My name is Michael Oden. I am the creator and founder of Nine Rumps Publishing, and this is a Vienna lager, and I'm going to be enjoying one of these here while we do this lovely stream. That's outstanding. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be drawing a sketch card. We have a Patreon, which I'll pull up here towards the end of the stream, where at $15 a month, a patron will get a monthly sketch card. And so we had our first patron that selected this, and I've talked to them already. They've requested a rendition of the Green Knight because they're a big Arthurian lore fan. And so that's what we're going to be drawing today. if I can talk, is the Green Knight. Um, so let's put this bad boy up big, make that a little bit bigger. That's what we're all here to see anyway. Um, so we're gonna get started. So about last week, I think the indie film of The Green Knight, starring Dev Patel, came out, and I posted my initial thoughts up on Twitter, and this caused a little bit of a hubbub. And this is actually how I ended up getting in touch with this person. Was they they saw my initial thoughts and were were curious as to what I thought of the film, and if I would recommend it. And they ended up seeing it. We got into a really long conversation about it, and I told him about my upcoming webtoon, Errand of the Sable Knight, which he was pretty excited about, and I sent him the Patreon information so that he could have like the premiere access and see the chapters ahead of time, which is our big thing that we're doing. Is we'll be releasing Errand of the Sable Knight up on Webtoon, one page every 2 weeks, and so if you back our Patreon as low as $1 a month, you get those chapters early. But so we were talking about it, and he was talking about, oh man, I really like the Green Knight's design in the movie. Like, he's perfect and everything. And when he backed the $15 a month tier, I asked him like what he'd want for me to do for his first sketch card. And he said, oh, I'd love for you to do the Green Knight. And he initially wanted me to do the version in the film, but he's another indie creator, and I told him, I'll tell you what, I am going to draw my own version of the Green Knight, and if you like it, you can use it in whatever project you are planning to have this character show up in. Just give me the credit for the design, and we'll call it square. You're supporting us at $15 a month. I think that's more than fair. So anyways, we've got just this basic like torso here so far. I've recently kind of leveled up my art game, so that's the only reason why I'm doing one of these streams, is because I feel a little bit more confident in my ability to do this. I'm sure that there will be artists in the chat that'll show up and be like, oh, you're doing this all wrong. I know that Corey Barton liked my link here earlier, so maybe we'll have a bogan in the chat making fun of me while I draw. We've got Michael Breyer says that he's going to watch it soon. It's an interesting flick. I don't think I will go see it again. I doubt I will own it. I don't regret going, but it's an experience for sure. If you want to hear like a more in-depth breakdown of it, then I highly recommend going and checking out this past Tuesday's Morning Nonsense of Literature Devil. He had me come on to talk about the film specifically, and we kind of went through our gripes and the things that we liked, the things that we didn't. But anyways, so we've got this kind of torso going. I'm going to Hockey saying I'm still a learner drawer myself, so no ribbing from me. I appreciate it, bud. But like, in all seriousness, that's part of the fun here. So like, if you see me doing something absolutely egregious, feel free to make fun of me for it. So we're going to give him a chainmail coif that you kind of see. I honestly love this kind of look, and I don't like it's one of these things that I wish people used more in when doing medieval stuff, especially Arthurian, because it's probably something that you'd likely see these guys wear anyway. Michael Byers says in the chat, I can't draw, but if you want someone to take shots at you, I can. Thanks, buddy. Your support is inspiring. So this is where we're going to make things a little bit more interesting. So we're going to have a tree branch kind of coming out and jutting out of this male coif. Because I do like how in the film he's kind of like, he almost feels like a fae, like a woodland fae in the Green Knight movie. His design is like easily one of the best parts of the film. Is just he feels like this ethereal woodland spirit. And I really liked that, and I think that should be resonated here in how we draw him. And even when I get to his like face and everything, I'm planning on like having like moss and what have you in the form of like warts and everything like that, and having him very natural and down to earth kind of design. Start to work in that brow here. Again, kind of make these brows super bushy and dark, almost leaf-like. Are you guys able to see that at all? I'm still getting at this, but it's one of these things where I do predominantly pencil work, so I'm not sure how well you guys will be able to see it here on the stream. So we're getting his eyes in. I'm kind of getting his nose. We're going to give him a little bit of a wider nose here. All right. We're going to come back to his eyes because I'm planning on having his irises pop out, and the where there would normally be whites in his eyes, it'll be black. Give him his mouth here. And now time for the fun part. So we're going to give him some of this facial hair. Give him a nice bushy mustache that's kind of full. And then we're going to come down here and get his beard. And the beard, we're going to have kind of lined down so that it feels bushy. Kind of throw in some leaves. Maybe even make it look like there's some vines in there. So we're going to come back up here, put in his irises, but then we're going to go in here. And I've always kind of imagined him to be like older, so we're going to start to throw in some wrinkles. He should look aging and mysterious, almost wooden. We got Ryan Wynn and Dean Janes in the chat. Ryan Wynn saying ahoy, ahoy, Ryan. It's always a pleasure to have the captain of the the comic ship in our chat. Thank you so much for showing up. We got Dean James. You never see artists doing writing streams. Just saying. I think that somebody's just getting a little bit insecure. You know, it was bad enough that I apparently Bill fingered him. Bob caned him and made him my bill finger for the embrace. But now I'm starting to creep in on his territory as an artist. He's gonna be like, oh, well, now I've got to do a drawing stream to show just how much a better artist I am than Odin. Uh, we got some hailage going on in the chat between Hockey and Ryan. Good to see this camaraderie going on. It's always a fun time. All right. So we're getting this. I'm gonna try and throw in like a mole right on his nose. Mole right there. All right. We're gonna add another tree branch over on this side. Dean just said no, but I did just send you a photo of the panel I'm working on, Ogden. Does anyone like have Mo Biggs's contact information? Because I feel like he should like me doing a stream where I'm drawing feels like it should have like Mo Biggs here talking like the most amount of shit. Ooh, so that's actually a really cool question. Hockey is asking, out of the 9 realms, which one is my favorite? Probably Need the Valir. I really like. I think it's one of the most like underrated ones. You always hear people talking about like Svartalheim or Anheim. Obviously like Valhalla and Asgard. But you know, the really cool stuff happens on Nidavellir. It's the place where all the cool shit's made, you know, and yeah, like that's probably my favorite of the actual 9 realms. Uh, Dean is asking which one is Hell, and that is like Hell is. It's been a while since I've brushed up on my Norse myth. Hell is, I'm fairly certain it's like a branch off of Niflheim. Like it's like it's a purgatory effectively. Like the probably one of the best equivalents to it is in like Greek mythology. If you're just like a common person, you just wait around the domain of Hades and you just sit around and wait and everything. And that's kind of what hell is. And for the Vikings is just kind of like the land of mediocrity for the dead. It's just, yeah, it's just this land of people who weren't quite great, weren't quite evil. They aren't bad people, so they can't like be punished for eternity, but they weren't awesome. They didn't do anything with their lives, so they're just kind of there in escrow up in the air. Michael Byers asks, "Isn't the one you mentioned where the dwarves are?" Yeah, Nidavellir is where the dwarves are. That's where Eitri and all of them live, and that's where Gungnir was forged, Mjolnir. Like if you name a weapon or even jewelry that the gods used, it was likely forged in Nidavellir. Made popular by Infinity War. But yeah, so as I said, for those of you guys that came in late, like the what I'm doing right now is we're doing a sketch card for a Patreon uh, patron that we got here recently. For those of you guys that for those of you guys that are not aware, Nine Realms has an active Patreon, which I'll show off here towards the end, along with all of our other goodies. Um, that the whole purpose is it's our kind of way to monetize our webtoon, but also to grow our community and allow our fans that are willing to continue to support us exclusive first looks at content, like upcoming things, whether that's like character sheets or promos or pages of art. We're going to be using it as effectively our like fast pass on Webtoon. Webtoon on their sponsored content allows you to purchase coins to fast pass ahead chapters, and so since we're not a featured Webtoon and we're on the Webtoon canvas, Errand of the Sable Knight can't use that feature. Um, but what we're going to do is we're going to allow people the opportunity to purchase at as low as $1 a month on the Patreon. You get all of the Webtoon stuff early, and you get all of the sneak peeks. So it's a pretty sound thing, and we'll be updating the Webtoon with chapters, one page every 2 weeks, and that'll start August 19th. But if you support our Patreon, you'll have access to the first page 3 weeks early. And the goal is to keep the Patreon 3 weeks ahead of release. Um, in that we got Pops here in the chat. Welcome, Pops. Thanks for showing up. Um, and Hockey says, the giant Peter Dinklage. Yes, 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 that is correct. All right. So we've gotten to the chest area, and so what we're going to do is we're going to give him a cloth hauberk with a deer skull with antlers as his crest. I'm going to have to probably pull up a reference for that. And we're going to have these plate mail pauldrons over on his shoulders to indicate that there is plate mail under the cloth. I am not making up words. I know these things. I've been a nerd for as long as I can remember. All right, so I'm going to give him a belt. So the Green Knight generally only wields an axe, but we're going to give him one of my favorite things to draw is like the belt and sheath. It's always been something that I've really enjoyed doing since I read Howard Pyle's King Arthur and his Knights. Like one of my favorite like little details was how he did the belt buckles, and then he would add these like ornamental flowers on things. So that's what we're gonna do is add some of that. And then this is his right side, so this is where his sword will come up. Give him kind of a prismic pommel. Coming down for the hilt. Crossblade. Right, and then this comes up here like this. To indicate that this is going into the belt. Where is his fiddle bot? Hockey says, where is his fiddle boop? And the diggle fudge is wrapping around his nibzip. You can make fun of me all you want, but a cloth hauberk is a real thing. It is a coat of like padded cloth material that you put over plate mail. And then what we'll do is we'll have this come down like this. We're going to have his hand resting on the axe. Bring this axe down. All right. So back to the sword. Ryan Wynn says, I came up with an idea for an embrace piece. Got to work it out and send it your way. I would probably cry to see Ryan Wynn draw an embrace piece. I would be a very happy man. Because I like me some Ryan Wynn art. And I'm not for anyone that's hanging out in the chat that doesn't already know this. Ryan Wynn was an inker for a small little book that you guys might have heard of called The Darkness. So that's pretty damn cool. Absolute superstar. All right, so we're giving him some chainmail down here. Ryan says he's still trying to figure out an Elysian Fields piece, and then he states, I've been around. Hockey, fortunately, he has to go. I'm doing some drawing tuts and need to concentrate. Well, thank you so much for coming out, Hockey. I really appreciate you being here. And we'll hopefully see you again on the next one. I am actually going to be doing another live video here next week. Next week will be my first ever live comic book review. We're going to be taking a look at a book called We Are Scarlet Twilight, which was a Kickstarter book that I backed. And it'll be a really, really cool thing to talk about. So make sure that you guys don't miss out on that. Yeah, so we'll be doing that. But we will see you here in a bit, Hockey. Comics Talk with Pops and Zant says having a Madness art auction on Friday the 13th if you want to sell something, Odin. Uh, maybe. I mean, if somebody's really interested in buying my art, uh, that's cool, I guess. I don't know if I'd pay for my own art. But I've certainly come a long way here, even in just the past few months. So who knows? Maybe I'm at that point. So moving back, Michael Breyer says I'd pay for your art. Well, thank you, man. Oh, that's right. I did do that blue and gold sketch. That thing looks sick. I was very proud of that. Between that one and the Captain Marvel, those are like two of the best pieces I've drawn recently. So it's time to do this skull. Let's see if I can't, how much of this I can do from memory. So, got this, and that comes out like this. All right. So we've got his little deer antler crest. All right. So now it's time to bring some definition to this cloth. So we lost hockey. Who else we got still here? We obviously got Michael Briers is still hanging out in the chat. Thanks so much. I think Ryan Wynn's probably still hanging around doing his thing. Did we manage to lure over a frog? Did the frog G come and hang out with us tonight? I guess not. No big deal. It is a late night stream. I understand. All right. Are you guys able to see that okay? Can you guys tell what I'm doing here? Outstanding. If Ryan Wynn wants to come on and be live, I can send him a link if he wants to. I certainly wouldn't mind the company. Well, that way, if he's working on one of those embrace and on that embrace piece, he can show it off. All right, so we got the this is actually turning out pretty solid. I'm pretty happy with this. Who knows? I might see it in like a different angle here in a few hours and be like, what the fuck did I do to this? That's what happened to me earlier as I was drawing Uh, a buddy of mine's about to do a book, and I offered to do a variant for him to help out and save him some money. And so I drew the character, and I was like really happy with it, with the angle that I was looking. And then when I looked at it like straight on, I was like, "What the fuck happened? Why does it look slanted?" Not sure if that's ever happened to anybody, but it certainly happens to me more times than I'd care to admit. All right. So the big shame about this is that I don't have any like colored pencils or markers to go and bring some color to this, because like I can already like see in my head how I'd color um so that I could color the like I kind of envision his his face to be like this rotting mixture of like skin tone and green, and his beard would be like a dark evergreen, almost black at points. Whoa. Woo. When your buddy calls you and interrupts your live stream. Ryan Wynn says, "Thank you for the invite, but I had to postpone my own stream because it's too loud here right now." That is fair enough, friend. Thanks for considering. One of these days I do got to get you on this channel, Ryan. Super excited for Hammerella. That book looks sick. And I got the Gods and Gears stuff as well, because I really liked the concept for that. And when we were talking about it on Comic Ship, I was like, yeah, I got to read that. That sounds good. Oh, we got Bancroft. Is Bancroft streams over? So like now everyone's just gonna come piling in here. We got Michael T from High Desert Comics saying Bancroft raid. Or is this him saying everyone abandon my stream and go hang out on Bancroft's because he's way cooler than me? Well, you want to know what, Michael? Skip. Thanks, man. Um, thanks for rejecting my show. my, you know what? So Michael T from High Desert Comics is saying, "Do not co." Well, you know what? Want to know what, Michael? You want to know what something I can do better than Bancroft? Draw hands. Apparently. All right. So we're going to. What am I going to do with this other hand? I don't even want to draw. For whatever reason, his arm is going to be behind him because he's a cordial Green Knight. He's come to extend his invitation to his Christmas game. Come, lob my head off. I'll promptly return you the favor in a year hence. So, anyone unfamiliar with the story of the Green Knight is it's a story from Arthurian legend, and effectively how the story goes is it's the New Year's celebration. Yes, I did just Liefeld that hand away, Michael T. Um, uh, so the way that the legend goes is it's the New Year's celebration at Camelot, and they are the celebrations are interrupted by a spectral being, this Green Knight who comes in and challenges the Knights of the Round Table to a game that you know anybody who can land. It's effectively a challenge for a duel, and the way that the game goes is that if you can land a strike on him, if you can shed his blood uh, and what have you, um, that he would return the same blow to you in a year's time. And so everyone's kind of like obviously sketchy about this, and struts this knight, Sir Gawain. And Gawain accepts the challenge, and they go to draw their weapons, and the Green Knight has this big axe, and Gawain draws his sword. But then suddenly the Green Knight lays his axe down and goes down to his knees and presents his head as if to be cut. And Gawain is very frustrated by this because he's a knight and this is silly. It's like, you challenged me to a duel. This is a matter of skill, and now you're just letting me, like, this doesn't seem right. And so out of anger and frustration, Gawain cuts the Green Knight's head off. And everyone claps, and there was much rejoicing. Nice little Monty Python reference there for anyone that will catch it. like Michael T saying, I'm telling him he'll be happy for the homage. I'm sure that he'll be like, I don't fucking care. Who are you even talking about? I've never even heard of Michael Odin. If Rob Liefeld has heard of me, I'd probably, like, I'm not the biggest Liefeld fan, but I'd consider that something. But anyways, going back to the story of the Green Knight, Gawain lobs his head off, and everyone's clapping and being like, "Oh, great job, Sir Gawain! He never stood a chance." And then all of a sudden, the Green Knights, uh, fucking, I know, right? Michael T says nothing says starving artist like the clearly unpaid for StreamYard badging. I know. I was trying to like make it look all nice so it wasn't just like a blank screen, but like, yeah, I'm broke, kids. I'm not paying monthly StreamYard stuff. I've got a custody battle. I've got all sorts of shit that I've got to do. I'm about to start fulfillment on the Embrace. Like, this is, I can't afford silly damn StreamYard fees. But anyways, the Green Knight, after having his head lobbed off, his body just sits up, picks up his head, gets on his horse, and says, 1 year hence, meet me at the Green Chapel, and rides off. Then, because it's an Arthurian poem and apparently there is no such thing as rising action at all, and we just like to get to the climax of things, we skip over the fact over Gawain's journey towards the Green Chapel, and we're given some allusions to him having some struggles here or there. And he arrives at the castle of this noble Bertilac, whose wife is thirsting for some Gawain juice. And she's Bertilac's out hunting and has made this deal with Gawain that Gawain should get would give him something that if I can talk, that Bertilac would bring Gawain the finest thing that he caught each day, and in return Gawain would give unto Bertilac something uh, that Gawain had received that Bertilac had not. And so his wife's making all these advances on him. And Michael T says first a charge cable, then StreamYard, now a legal battle. Man, I'm sorry. You can borrow my backing cash to get the charge cable at least, dude. It's all good. I'm like we're playing around here. But so like um for every day that the Gawain stays at this castle for 3 days, and so like the first day, Madame Bertilac is really trying to put the moves on, and Gawain denies her, but allows her to kiss him once, and so Bertilac, when he comes back from the castle with his catch, Gawain gives him a kiss to the cheek, and then the second day, Madame Bertilac is trying to get at Gawain again, and he denies her, and so then when the Lord Bertilac comes back from his hunt with the prize, um, he gives him 2 kisses on the cheek, and then when the third day, Madame Bertilac has finally broken the fucking code that she's not going to break the purity of this night, the virtue of this night, and so she instead offers him a golden ring and a green sash that will protect him from any harm. Which, I mean, that's a pretty big temptation, as Gawain's about to go ride off to meet the Green Knight at the Green Chapel, and the Green Knight's going to cut his head off. And so he takes the sash, but he gives the gold ring to Bertilac as his final exchange. Before he goes off to the Green Chapel. And so the following day, Gawain leaves out for the Green Chapel, and he arrives there. And he's wearing that green sash that's supposed to protect him from harm. And the Green Knight attempts to swing twice, and for all intents and purposes, whiffs it. But on the third, when he's raising for the third strike, Gawain stops him and removes the green sash and explains what it is. And the Green Knight smiles and says, "You passed the test," and reveals himself. Ryan Wynn says they didn't have time for rising action back then. Short lifespans and all. That's probably fairly accurate. But yeah, we're gonna add some tree branches up here. More tree branches. Do some Bob Ross. We're gonna add some pretty little leaves. Pretty leaves. This is a happy mistake. But anyways, so the Green Knight, after Gawain, comics mate Dean says, "I'll die an old man in my 40s just as God intended." Yeah, accurate. So the Green Knight reveals himself to be none other than Lord Bertilac, and he and Gawain go back home, and it's revealed that this whole thing was cooked up by Morgane Le Fay to test the nobility of Gawain of Arthur's knights, and try and discredit them. And Gawain lived up to the challenge. But anyways, I think this pretty much wraps up this sketch card. I throw in some like minor details here or there, but I think we've done what we've come here to do, guys. I think that this is looking pretty good. I'll hold it up to the camera here. So this is what this guy's getting. I'll go on ahead and I'll sign this. All right. I'm going to remove that. Close that. Okay. So, anyways, that was a sketch card that I did for the Patreon. I'm going to take a swig of my drink. And as I said, I was going to bring up the Patreon here at the end of this, towards the end of the stream when we start to like go in to the obligatory promotional material. And so let's see. View my public page. So we're going to share. All right. So let's make that big. Fantastic. So this is our Nine Realms Publishing Patreon. Woo! I know, super fancy. And what we were doing here tonight is this digital catalog and sketch card tier. And so if you were to purchase or to join rather in at this tier for $15 a month, you would be getting a peek at what's coming. So all of our inside exclusives, everything like that, a sketch card, which you just spent the past almost hour watching me draw, and a webtoon, the Webtoons chapters coming early. So as I said, we're doing our Webtoons. Our Webtoon will be releasing one page every 2 weeks. This will only be to start with until we are able to maintain a solid production rate and keep ahead of content. I don't plan on doing but yeah, what we're going to end up doing is that we will have the Webtoon chapters up on our Patreon ahead of everything. You just have to back for as low as $1 per month. And the other big thing that you get is an Errand of the Sable Knight floppy. So we're going to be doing Errand of the Sable Knight is a full-on story that I've already written the script for. It's a bit over 200 pages, I think, last time I looked. And so I've broken it into 8 chapters and an epilogue. And so each chapter of the book will serve as a season of content. And whenever we finish a chapter, we will produce it as a floppy. And the Patreon backers will get a special edition of the floppy. We will have the floppies available on crowdfunding campaigns as well. But the Patreon people get an exclusive edition of it that's got like inside looks at art and a whole bunch of other stuff. It'll be ad-free content, whereas the floppy that we have on campaigns will likely have ads. So Yeah, that's what we're doing here tonight. Is we're doing that $15 per month, and so once a month, this guy that supports us at this $15 tier, he'll get a sketch card of his choice. I'll ask him what he wants me to draw that month, and I've already got the envelope for this, so I'll seal it up and I'll bring it to stamp tomorrow and drop it off at the post office once I get his address. Michael T says, "Don't ask where he tattooed his personal Yggdrasil already." Ryan, thanks. And Ryan says, "So you broke it into 9 realms? Cool. Is it actually 9 tiers? Did I do that? There's three. There's 6 levels. um. So yeah, these are the 6 levels that we have. At $1, you get Webtoon chapters early, and you also do get a peek at what's coming. I need to add that in there. At $5 per month is where you get the Errand of the Sable Knight floppies. $15 a month. I already went over that. At $20 a month, you get the Nine Realms catalog. But you also, the cool thing about these is that they'll have Patreon exclusive variant covers. And then at $50 a month, you get a producer credit. So, like in the credits of the book, you'll be there as a sponsor and everything like that. Which is really cool, obviously. And then at $100 per month, you get original pieces of art. Um, so yeah, that's our Nine Realms Patreon. So make sure that you check that out. Uh, and then, so as I said, that Patreon is meant to support the upcoming webtoon Errand of the Sable Knight, which is this bad boy right here. And I'm fairly certain that I have the links for all of these in our description. So if you're looking to where to support, that's where to go. Um, and so right now, as you see, we only have these 2 character sheets up. This is Errand of the Sable Knight. That's our premise. You know, uh, we got a little bit of our a little bit of info on this character. This is our protagonist, Pellinor. He's a forgotten hero of Arthurian lore. Join him on his quest to restore life to his daughter and redeem his greatest failing in chivalry. And then here is our Galahad, um, who Sir Galahad was the knight who commenced the chase of the Grail. Thus, it is fitting that a knight so pure be after it is uh, well, a knight so pure be after it as well. But when noble errands clash, which side shall fate choose? Um, so yeah, that's what we've got up there right now. Michael T. Comics says, kind of a new age comic subscription. I may have to steal this idea for later post campaign store. That's honestly like that's kind of what I'm looking at doing. The Patreon is serving as our way to kind of have our own back catalog website. And Dean's yelling at me to talk more about the Embrace, and I will. I'm saving the best for last, Dean. Give me a minute, because like I do have a plan. Like I'm you know I realize I'm not like super smart, but I do okay. You know, um, I have gotten myself this far. um, and so the Embrace, I guess, is what we're going to be looking at next. And uh, Michael T is saying, "What's the embrace?" And Dean saying, "See, that's what I'm talking about." All right. So let's take a look here. All right. So we have the Embrace, currently at $13,602 USD, raised by 234 backers. You guys are outstanding. The backer count has officially gone over the amount of people we had sign up for the mailing list. So that means tentatively every single person on that mailing list purchased a copy of the Embrace. That's fucking amazing. Thank you guys so much for getting us this far. We are closing out this campaign. We're closing it out next Friday. We will be live on Michael Bancroft's show along with Dave Brink from Perfect 10, closing out our campaigns together. And you want to know what? We really would like to hit 15K before we close. We are so close. It is only $1,400 away. So if you know anybody that hasn't heard if you know anybody that hasn't heard about the Embrace, be sure to steer them our direction. The book is pretty much fucking done, and it will be going off to the printer here very, very soon. And the goal is to have the first people, to have some people have these books in hand by the end of August. So don't miss out. This is going to be a fantastic book. And you know what? We're going to scroll through the campaign a little bit. Actually, no, we're not going to, because I have something cool to share that is the Embrace. You guys have seen it. Everyone has heard me talk about it. And we have something really cool to share with you that, it was supposed to be done a long time ago. But the person that was doing it for us had some personal life stuff come up. These things happen. It is what it is. But it's finally done. And I think that tonight is probably a good time. Fuck you, Dean. Somebody better get Mo Biggs in this chat. Like I don't know how we accomplish this, but like Mo Biggs needs to be here so that he can freak out and start accusing me of being a photophobe, I think is what it was. But anyways, as I said, this is a piece that was supposed to be done a while ago. But there were delays. Things happen. It's okay. But I think that everyone will agree that it was worth waiting for because it looks really good. I will be putting it on a cover and everything. I'll be doing the cover stuff with it here probably within the next day or so to get it finalized and all that. But here is the final painted James O'Barr homage cover of the Embrace. So, yeah, I think that Entertainment Madness did a beautiful job painting this. The line work was done, of course, by Vaughn Randall, who does a tremendous job. He did the beautiful lines of that Elysian Fields piece that serves as our remaster cover and was the cover for our black and white cut edition. And I told him that I was looking at doing this this James O'Barr homage cover, and he knocked it out of the park. He did a tremendous job. And then Entertainment Madness had entered our fan art contest and had done these beautiful paintings. And I told him, like, hey man, do you want to paint this cover? And he was like, hell yeah. And so uh, he did it, and it looks tremendous. Dean is stating that the cover will have a black border, just like the Crow collection from back in the day. That is correct. The whole point of this is to really emulate the Crow. I might even have the Embrace lettering color change. I might change the color to be red, just like the Crow's is, just for this cover. We'll see if it looks really good and what have you on the cover. Then we'll do that. But yeah. So we're at an hour. It's midnight 30, and I'm a little bitch that needs to get to sleep. The only question I have is it really pronounced Obear? I've been saying Obar this whole time. You know, I'm not exactly sure. I've heard it pronounced both ways. There's every bit of a chance that I'm in the wrong. I don't know. Uh, Even I flip flop the pronunciation from time to time, but it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, the Crow is probably the biggest inspiration on the Embrace, from a creative standpoint for me, because it was a very similar creative journey. You know, when James O'Barr, we'll just pronounce it that way, when James O'Barr created the Crow, it was it was a way for him to come to terms with the death of his wife, who was killed by a drunk driver. And then he saw this story on a newspaper about a teenage couple that were murdered over a plastic engagement ring, and that's what the Crow was born out of. And similarly, you know, I'm going through a divorce. I've lost my wife. It's not quite the same, obviously. She's still alive. But we have a 3-year-old son. And nothing can prepare you from seeing your son every day to seeing him just the weekends. And it doesn't matter how much you try to make things amicable during this whole process, things get ugly. And so I took that hurt, and I took that pain, and I channeled it into something constructive. And I remembered this story back when Elizabeth and I first had, my ex and I first had James. We had just moved in to our first apartment after he was born, because we had been renting out this basement in a house to save money for when he was born, so that we could have our own place. But the first place we'd ever lived in when we were together was kind of in a rough neighborhood. And so we saw this news story that was all about how they found some kid's body in this park that my ex and I used to walk through at our first place that we ever lived at together. And it was a gang. Like, the evidence pointed to a gang initiation. And like, I remember both of us just being like, that could have been our kid, you know? And so between the pain of the divorce and everything, and remembering that story. That's how Clarence and David came to be. And you know I I found Dean and I told him what I was trying to do, and I was having a hard time writing the script because I just couldn't visualize the character. And then he came up with this design, and it fucking rocked. And now we're here. I think that was back in December, and we're here 7, 8 months, 9 months, 9 months since. And Nine Realms has its first five-figure campaign. We have almost 300 backers on the Embrace. We're nearing 15K, um, and a book that I'm honestly more proud of than anything. Dean and Paul have done a tremendous job bringing this story together with their art, and I really hope that this script resonates with you guys like how it was for me when I wrote it. Um, so, anyways, thank you all for coming out here tonight. Be sure to back the Embrace. Be sure to follow Aaron to the Sable Knight on Webtoon. If you're interested in supporting Nine Realms uh, as a patron, please go to our Patreon. We'd love to have your support. You guys, we have really great values on stuff um, to reward you guys for your patronage. And just thank you all. We wouldn't be here without you. So have a good night, everyone.